vegetables. That's one like that.
Like she's in sixth grade, and she's passing notes. So finally, I wrote my phone number on the back and handed it back to her. So she can say she can be in on the conversation. I don't know. Together. So she be
Mic check.
One man break. That's one thing when I first went back here, we just talked all that football game. Then I got sick. You probably don't realize how cautious I am. I'm more than cautious. Right. Most people think I'm just going to whatever I want to do. I know very calculated. Yeah. Just like tonight, I'm more calculated than you are first one. No, I just have you guys who like two people. Write it down. It's really hard to I can't work. I have to do it. I'm Sidney Fawcett.
Fawcett. Nice to meet you, Sidney Fawcett and
Michael Mahoney.
Michael Mahoney.
We met each other.
Okay, I know you look familiar.
Yeah, I'm like a dog on the street.
Like a dog on the street.
Just hanging on the road.
His mother was D.E. Fawcett, who taught here botany, biology.
She's way too young.
I know.
You are too kind. Turned 69 in October.
I turned
40s.
I turned 78.
Look, well, I went to Virginia Tech and UVA, and it's like when I hit 35, it's one of those developmental stages. I lived.
I promise you, I do understand.
You do understand?
I'm not that.
Aerosmith had a song called Amazing. You ever heard the little song? I kept the right ones out, I left the wrong ones in. Had an angel of mercy see me. Mercy. What you keep telling me?
I have an angel of mercy at UVA who's now passed away. I had an angel of mercy there. Research professor. Went for him.
God always put somebody in my life. And see, I'm severely right brain, like just, I mean, I'm extremely smart, but I'm not, my frontal lobe, and in other words, timelines and that kind of thing. Always put somebody in my life.
The time is 7:15, and I would like to call to order the regular meeting of the Southampton County School Board. I apologize for the delay, but several board members are having difficulty logging into Board Docs, which is the system we use to access our documents. So hopefully most people can now see the agenda as well as the supporting documents. We do have all 9 of our members present, so we do have a quorum. The agenda is available or was presented in your documents. Is there a board member who needs to add an item to the agenda tonight? Okay, so matters from the board, we're going to add a D, and that'll be Mr. Smith. Is there another board member who needs to add an item to the agenda tonight? So could we have a motion then to approve the agenda as amended? So we have a motion by Mr. Smith. Second. A second by Mr. Scott. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. You had in your board documents the minutes of the work session, the special meeting from January the 8th, as well as the minutes from our public hearing and the minutes from our regular meeting. Are there any corrections to the minutes of those meetings? The special meeting, which was the work session, the public comment period, the board hearing on the budget, and minutes from the regular meeting.
I'm not able to see those minutes.
Say again?
I'm not able to see those minutes.
So can we approve those minutes?
I reviewed them last night. I will make a motion to approve.
Okay. So we have a motion by Ms. Bunn. Do we have a second? We have a second by Ms. Roundtree to approve the minutes as presented. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? So we have approved the minutes. February is School Board Appreciation Month. So on behalf of the school board, I do want to thank the individual schools for the recognitions that you've given us. We certainly appreciate it. And Dr. Shannon has some comments to make.
Sure. So echoing what Dr. Goodwin said, first of all, thank you for all of the gifts that the schools have presented us with. And then I would just like to say thank you to the school board for the time and dedication that you all provide to the efforts of ensuring that our students have a quality education and that, all of our students just have what they need. So thank you all so much for just donating your time for our students. Also, the governor has signed a proclamation for School Board Appreciation Month. And I will say we have several proclamations, so I'm not sure if you want me to read all of them, but the governor does have a signed proclamation in our board packet for School Board Appreciation Month.
Thank you. It's also School Board Clerk Appreciation Month, and you know that Dr. Shannon and Ms. Artis are clerk and vice clerk of the board, so we certainly appreciate all the work that they do in terms of making sure that all the records are kept and that we get those things taken care of. It is also National School Counseling Week, so I'd like for Dr. Shannon to tell us a little bit about what went on in the schools to recognize our school counselors and to elaborate a little bit on that.
But National School Counseling Week was last week, which is the week of February the 5th through the 9th. And it is, it's a week that is set aside nationally to focus on the contributions of our school counselors within our school systems. Now, normally we provide cups or some type of artifact, but I have to be honest with you, I'm not sure what we have given our counselors this year thus far. And sometimes we may wait until the end of the year and look at the money and then provide all of the gifts at one time to the nurses, the counselors, or what have you. But anyway, that's something that is handled differently at each school, but we also do something division-wide, and I think we're going to be waiting and doing something for all of them, because what's happening is you'll have counselor week, then it's nurses, of course, teachers, everyone, bus drivers, all of them. But that's where we are. And I will like to say, though, Wendy Simmons, and she does a magnificent job. At Mahara, we have Miss Katisha Davis, and she too is phenomenal. And we also have Kim Walker Lee at Nottaway. At Riverdale, we have Mr. Whitehurst and a Miss Ann Gray. And then Miss Janine Parker, Miss Millie Gardner, and Miss Sonia Davis is actually a social worker, but she serves in a capacity of counselor and social worker at the middle school. And then we have Dr. Carolyn Thomas and Miss Ashley Carr at the high school. And our counselors are phenomenal. You know, we are very concerned about the social emotional well-being of not only our students, but also our staff. And we certainly need them to be able to continue to do this with fidelity.
And it is also Career and Technical Education Month, Dr. Shannon.
So, Career and Technical Education Month. This year we have a new director. I see her out there, Miss Monica Crutchfield, which is Miss Crutchfield, just so everyone will know, so they'll know who you are. And our CTE programs are, they're blossoming. I mean, they are just really growing. We are continuing to add programs. We did add Pharmacy Tech a while back. We are getting ready to start that back this semester, I think this month to be exact. And we have 100% of our students have passed the Pharmacy Tech exam. So when they take the exam, again, 100% of them have passed the exam. And we also have a very high passage rate for our patient care techs in the CTE department. So our CTE department, a lot of people, when they think of CTE, they may not think about academics, they think about the hands, but in our CTE department, it's really a good merger of both. And we love what they do, and they do a magnificent job. And again, hats off to the high school principal as well as Ms. Crutchfield for what you all do.
Thank you. We have no matters from previous meetings, so now we're going to move into the public comment period of our meeting. Although Virginia law does not require us to hold a public comment period, we choose to do so because we financial report and payment of bills. Dr. Shannon?
Now, Ms. Carr is on her way to the podium to discuss financial report.
Good evening, all present tonight. If I can bring your attention to the preliminary expenditure report for the month of January. You'll notice that our revised local operating budget for fiscal year 23-24 is at $35,868,998. Our expenditures through January 31st total $16,646,416.72. This leaves us a balance of $19,222,581.28. Please note that as of the date of this report, 46.41% has been expended from the local operating budget. The January bill list has been attached to the agenda for the board's approval tonight. Are there any questions?
Any questions, Ms. Carr?
I make a motion that we pay the bill.
I have a motion by Mr. Smith, a second by Ms. Lane, that we pay the bills as presented. In a discussion on the motion.
I was unable to review this prior to tonight, so I cannot add that.
Okay. We have one abstention. Okay.
Same.
So we've got two abstentions. So any other discussion on the motion? So all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? So, we have two abstentions and the, remaining board members vote approval of the bills as presented.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Carr. Several months ago, the board asked the superintendent to, seek the approvals needed to use approximately $2 million in funding received through the American Rescue Plan for 2 facilities projects. So on your agenda tonight, items B and C are related, but it goes back to asking the superintendent to seek the approvals necessary to use funding from the American Rescue Plan for 2 facilities projects. And these projects related to several of the division goals. One of our goals is to expand capital improvements. Another goal, it deals with student health, and of course, another goal deals with, of course, student achievement. Well, Dr. Shannon followed through on what we asked her to do, and we have received the necessary approvals to expend the money in this fashion. So the first thing we need to vote on then, and before we had the discussion, and asked Dr. Shannon to seek the approvals, and we have those approvals. So now we need an official vote of the board to use the funding in the manner that we sought. Does everybody follow what I'm saying? So we had the unofficial direction to the superintendent to investigate this matter. She's done that. She has the appropriate approvals, so but now the board needs to give an official approval to expend the funds in that way. So one project would be to establish or to build on the campus of the high school a building that would that we're calling a student health and education center, and it would be a facility that could be used to encourage and support student health activities, programs, classes, that kind of thing. And then the second project would be to rehabilitate or revitalize the old school board building that's housed close to the current school board office, to revitalize that building so that we can house and expand it in an up-to-date parent resource center. So those are the
the request for bid and, ready to come forward.
Okay, well, before Mr. Melvin comes, let's first vote on, we need an official vote of the board to pursue this, to use the money in this way. So that's the first action item that we need to take. And then we can hear about the firm. So we need two separate votes, I think, for clarity.
I move that we use the money from the American Rescue Plan to fund the two projects that were checked on by Dr. Schaefer.
Thank you. We have a motion by Dr. Tindall. We have a second by Mr. Scott. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
Yes. You abstain?
Nay.
Nay. So we have 1 nay and 8 yeses. So the motion is carried. The second item pertaining to this matter then is once we got the approval, we needed to have a firm that could help us carry out this project. So this is the part that Mr. Melby is going to report on now. So now, Mr. Melby, can you tell us the part 2 of this matter?
Good evening, Dr. Goodwin. Board, yes, last year through invitation for bid, we opened up architect and engineering plans, and Crabtree and Roebuck and Associates out of Charlottesville was the premier one that came out of the group. On a rubric scale, out of 100 points, they scored 98, with their loan deductions being that they are about 2.5, 3 hours away. But other than that, they have extensive work in K-12 throughout the Commonwealth, throughout Pennsylvania and North Carolina, and they are the firm that's heading up the new construction in Brunswick County right now.
So then the second vote that we need, second matter we need to take up for approval is using the services of Crabtree, Roebuck, and Associates to assist us with these facilities projects. And this firm will help us with site design, with design development, construction drawings, with construction administration, that kind of thing. But the next step would be to hire this firm to do the site design and the construction drawings. So we have such a motion.
I make a motion.
We have a motion by Ms. Bunn, a second by Mr. Smith to accept the bid of Crabtree, Roebuck, and Associates to help us with to retain them to assist us with this facilities project. Any discussion on the motion?
Would this also be paid out of the rescue plan fund?
Yes.
And it was the lowest bid.
They were the most capable responsive bidder within that, and their services are included within their not to exceed amount on their proposal.
You said they're coming 2 hours away.
Well, the firm itself is based in Charlottesville. The architect that came and spoke with me was Josh Bauer. He is out of Southern Richmond, is where he's out.
And
They
when
have
this project
multiple
gonna
offices.
start?
I'm sorry?
When is this project gonna start?
As soon as we're able to get the approval, so we can.
No projected date?
So as soon as the board approves it, then this firm can start with the site design and the construction
And then
drawings.
he'll come back with us with additional information.
I'm sorry, Ms. Lane. what was
Then
that?
he will come back again with additional information about projected dates.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha, thank you.
But I think that the target date is to have most of it completed before the end of 24, right?
If-
If I read it correctly,
if-
looking at September.
If everything falls in line, yes.
Well, remember that the district has to commit the funds, of course, by September 2024, but then the funds have to be expended by like the end of January 2025. So, which means that we need to get started now because the project needs to be completed by January 2025. Would be the project, well, it must be completed by January 2025. Does someone answer your question tonight?
That's great, thank you.
So any further discussion on the motion? So all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Then the ayes have it. Thank you. We have an overnight field trip request, Dr. Shannon.
Yes, ma'am. The senior class of Southampton High School is requesting permission to travel to Universal Studios and Island of Adventures. And in this letter that they wrote to me, they talked about how other schools do senior trips, and then the senior sponsor herself actually recalled how when she was a student at Southampton High School, she attended and participated in senior trips. And this is something that they wanted to add back, back into our schools, to be able to take our kids outside of Southampton and to be able to, to see other parts of the country and have fun. So the trip is scheduled for May the 17th through May the 19th. And they will leave at 12 a.m., return at 9 p.m., of course, on the 19th. And the amount for transportation is $5,000, and they'll divide this up by the number of students who will participate. And then admissions or fees is estimated to be about $3,000, and then the other is $100. So they are anticipating students having to pay about $450. And of course, they are conducting fundraisers to participate, and kind of defray these costs.
And you are recommending?
Oh, yes, I do recommend approval. I think it's great for them to go. I'm sitting class here.
I move that we accept the report from overnight field trip.
Second.
Have a motion by Ms. Lane, a second by Mr. Rogers. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. We have a use of facilities request from the Nuisance Athletic Association. Dr. Shannon.
Yes, Mr. James Cook with the Nuisance Athletic Association is requesting permission to utilize Harrod Elementary School from March the 1st until October the 1st of 2024. And they want to utilize the school so that they can have baseball practice. We have done this with them in the past, year after year. The time for the practice is usually around 5 o'clock p.m. They do have adequate insurance, and he is requesting a fee waiver. And I do recommend that we grant this, as well as grant the fee waiver.
Any additional explanation needed from Dr. Shannon? Do we have such a motion? So the motion by Ms. Bunn was second by Mr. Scott. Any further discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So then we have approved the request of the Nuisance Athletic Association to use the field and to waive fees. Okay. We also have a facilities request from Down the Middle Foundation. Dr. Shannon.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Darnell Lee Jr. with Down the Middle Foundation is requesting use of facility Riverdale baseball field from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Monday through Wednesday, February the 19th through May the 8th. And it's for both baseball and softball practice. He does have adequate insurance, and he too is requesting a fee waiver. And I would recommend that he too be granted a fee waiver, as well as he be granted permission to utilize the field at Riverdale.
So moved.
So a motion by Ms. Lane, a second by Mr. Smith. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. So we're now down to informational items. And the first item is instructional report. Dr. Shannon?
Sure. Ms. Kelly Gillette is coming forward to give us the instructional report. And in this report, she will talk a little bit about professional development, spelling bee, as well as other items. Thank you, Ms. Gillette.
Good evening, everyone. It's nice to be here on this Monday evening. As Dr. Shannon stated, I do have the February instructional report for you, and we will be talking about professional development, BDOE updates, and the middle school WHRO spelling bee. The first slide is from our professional development. It was on Friday, September 26th. It was with our middle and high school students. We had training with Edgenuity and also with Apple Classroom. Mr. Bill Hatch met with the middle school teachers first, and then switched to the high school in the second session. At the same time, the high school was having Edgenuity, and then middle school had that. So you can see the information that was shared with administration and with principals, and they were able to follow the links and know what they were doing that day. It's going different ways. And then on Monday, January 29th, we had elementary professional development. We had our January pre-K meeting. It was held at Riverdale Elementary. All of our preschool teachers attended, as well as Miss Linda Drake, and all of our elementary school principals were present. We also had Waterford training. This was for grades kindergarten and second grade only, as first grade was having 95% phonics and lesson libraries training during the same time. We also had iReady growth assessment support sessions for 4th through 8th reading and math teachers. Did want to share with you some BDOE updates with our core academics. We're looking at the standards of learning. We are implementing new standards next year. All the math will be new, but we have a full implementation next school year, as well as English. It'll be 24-25 school year, full implementation. The history and social sciences will be year 25-26, followed by science 25-26 as well, with full implementation. Once we have approval, the BDOE will provide resources for each division, including crosswalks, understanding of standards, instructional guides, and each content will also be provided professional development, have like a hub that they can go and have resources and communicate with each other, and also a list of approved textbooks. And then really exciting news, we had our Southampton Middle School Spelling Bee on Friday, January 19th, and we had Miss Camille Reed, and she stuck it out through all the different rounds that we had. We had started off with 40, it came down to 3 students who went back and forth for a good 4 rounds before we went down to 2, and those 2 went 5 rounds before someone finally won. And she went to the Norfolk today to compete, and we don't know news yet of how she did, but I will fill you in.
So spelling bee is tonight.
It is in Norfolk, WHOO,
Probably
today.
televised this weekend.
No, yeah, on the 12th.
Any questions for Mr. Lance?
I have a question about the SOL. So are we in an English crosswalk year this year then, if it's full implementation next year?
Well, they have the Virginia Literacy Act occurring right now.
Right.
And so there are a lot of questions going on about what actually will be implemented. In the beginning, it was everything was going to be implemented in 24-25.
Right.
But as they haven't approved certain resources, they backed out on some of exactly what's going to be used. So we're still waiting for approval on making sure the textbook is going to be approved and certain materials. But as far as they're saying, it will be approved, but they're kind of on the fence. We actually went, I went to training a couple of weeks ago, and it was for administration, and they talked about they want to do this and this and this, but when we asked questions, it was, that's the hope, moving forward, we're going to make that happen, we're going to make it happen. So we're waiting for the final button from the health to go, and we'll be ready.
Any additional questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
The BSBA Art Forum, the BSBA Regional Spring Network Forum, which is the Art Forum, is coming up on when? Oh, I didn't see that on my list. Okay, I'm sorry. So it's at the bottom of the page. I'm sorry. So we're down to the maintenance, operations, and transportation. Well, thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Melvin, you have something to add in addition to what you said before?
No, ma'am. I can't, whatever. Yeah, sure.
He does. I inadvertently skipped you. I didn't mean to.
I was good. I was fine.
You were fine with that, right?
Yes, ma'am. So this month really kind of go through and all the big maintenance work orders you have listed there. One of the biggest challenges of the month was when we had 2 days that were like 19 degrees in the morning, followed up by 2 days of 75-degree weather back to back, which was a treat to handle. So our staff are hustling. So all that's there for you to review. Any other questions?
Any questions about Mr. Melvin's report? Thank you, Mr. Melvin.
Yes, ma'am.
So now we're down to the Regional Spring Network Forum. Our district is the Tidewater region, and the Art Forum will be on April the 25th. So if you are interested in attending, please let Ms. Artis know. But in the meantime, Dr. Shannon will move forward with making sure that we have students to submit art pieces for that event. So now we are down to the student enrollment report and the student teacher attendance report. Dr. Shannon.
Yes, ma'am. The student enrollment report is 2,489 students are currently enrolled, and that is as of the January data. And then as far as the student and teacher attendance report, the student attendance winner is Catering Elementary School with 94.51%, and the teacher attendance winner is Southampton High School with 93.27%. So congratulations to those students.
So newsletters, calendars are included with your board information. Please read those, and if your schedule permits, please participate to the extent possible. Yes?
Is it possible to get calendars from the middle school and high school as well?
Sure. Under matters from the board, the school board members, elected officials, and school board members have to participate in the Virginia Conflict of Interest training. New school board members have to do it within 2 months of being elected, but all school board members have to do it once every 2 years. I'm asking that we complete this training virtually. So you have in your school board documents the information that you need to access the online webinar. So conflict of interest training is required every 2 years for school board members. And you click on that link, fill in your information, and complete the training online. Your registration information is captured when you finish, viewing that module, and then the training report will be available to the school board clerk. So please complete the conflict of interest training online. We were not able to get that training in person. Remember, we did the FOIA training in person, but we were not able to schedule the conflict of interest training in person. So I'm asking that you complete that module on your own time, please. The other thing I want to bring to your attention is that I would like for us to have or to schedule a work session for March, a special board meeting for March. And the purpose of that work session will be to discuss goal 1 of our priorities, which has to do with student academic progress. So at that meeting in March, that special meeting in March, we would get updates on test scores, on support programs. We just get information about student academic performance and how that's going. But also, during that time, the superintendent could also give us information about salaries. Because I think it is somewhat deceptive when we just look at beginning salaries for teachers. I think we need to look at the whole salary scale. So Dr. Shannon, when we talk about student academic progress, we can also talk about the pay scale for teachers, the salary scale for teachers at that same meeting. So is there a date in March that would not work for anybody? I was thinking about maybe like the last Monday in March, which is, I forgot that date.
March is the 25th.
Okay. You out of town? Is anybody out of town until March the 25th? Oh, it's Monday, 6 o'clock. But let's see if that date works for everybody first. Would March 25th work?
Would it be possible to do the 27th? Wednesday?
Yeah. What about Wednesday, March 22nd? Okay, so then let's plan that special work session for Wednesday, March 27th. And of course, when we're talking about the budget, hopefully you put on your calendar that the budget meeting for that special meeting in February.
And so we say 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. So now we have the budget work session that's coming up on February the 26th. And then we will have the student academic progress work session coming up on March the 27th.
Yes, a bit of homework from
Dr. Shannon.
Dr. Shannon. I think that the 4-year senior institutions in the state of Virginia are obliged to give some feedback to high schools as to how your students perform. So, but if we can request that information, James Madison, for example, if he had 3 or 4 students, they won't give it to you individually with aggregate information on how they perform their freshman year.
Yes, sir.
I think the guidance department is taking that up.
Anything?
Yeah, Dr. Goodman, I'd like to recommend that the discussion on salary scale actually happen at our budget work session. I think that if we can get information by that time,
We can.
It's widely available. I was able to pull it together this weekend to see pay scales for all of the districts. So if we have that information presented to us at the time of the budget session, we know how that impacts the budget and how we need to think about teacher salaries overall. So I'd ask that that be included then.
Anything else for the March meeting? It'll be held here. So March the 27th at 6 p.m. we will meet in this area. Okay, so Mr. Smith, you asked to be on the agenda.
Yes, I missed our January meeting. I was sick. And I missed the inaugural meeting for
pursuant to section 2.2.3711A 1 and 2 of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, the board upon a motion and a second will convene in a closed session to consider personnel appointments, resignations, retirements, and compensation, intra-district student transfer requests, out-of-district student transfer requests, student discipline matters, and a middle school health teacher matter. So do we have a vote? And after the closed session, we'll return to this area to take any necessary action. So do we have a motion to go into closed session? Have a motion by Dr. Tindall, was there a second, Ms. Lane? A second by Ms. Lane. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? So we will take maybe a 5-minute break. We will meet in closed session in the teachers' lounge, and then we'll